Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Beth. Today we're setting up for July 2024. It is officially the middle of the year. We have been through 6 months. We have 6 months more to go. I'm going to go ahead and start back here in my daily pages and go ahead and put in my vellum themed cover for July, and then we're going to work backwards to the monthly page and then the quarterly pages. My theme for July is the copper door. I've taken inspiration from all things in and around the Sahara Desert. Essentially, I am indulging my whim and fantasy of 12-year-old Beth who desperately wanted to be an Egyptologist. We are going with the burnt orange and coppery colors of a Saharan sunset. This is my door. I have it printed on vellum. I just thought I'd go ahead and show it to y'all how I print it because I use a little bit of washi tape and stick it onto a regular piece of printer paper so that it'll pull through the printer correctly, and I typically don't have any issues with it. I typically don't have any issues with my pages that I print on washi paper either, but you can see how crooked this is and that I've had to straighten this out. It tried to pull the washi off and get stuck in the printer. This page went fine, the next page did not go fine. I ended up with a bunch of misprints. That is not usual for me, but it did happen to me this time. So again, here we are. We have got some Egyptian imagery, Bedouin imagery, North African imagery. I've stuck some scarabs in, and then some things that, you know, an archaeologist might have, like these boots and this journal and scroll and backpack. Like I said, just indulging that 12-year-old Beth who desperately wanted to be an Egyptologist and who is still, let's face it, very much obsessed with all things ancient Egypt. I am. So there we go. But we've got a little Morocco thrown in here too, and some Tunisia. And like I said, all of those things in Northern Africa, minus flowers, because there's not a lot of floral happening in the Sahara Desert, but we're still going to keep our flower theme to go with the book cover from 10,000 Doors of January and make it all cohesive and match. I've changed up this page just a little bit, but we still have some icons and that sort of stuff. If you want to download the kit, it is available on my Patreon. You can go over there and check it out. The link is in the description box below. But I'm going to go ahead and cut out my door so we can go ahead and get it stuck in. I'll be right back. I got into a little bit of a hurry and cut off part of my gold frame on this side. It'll be fine. I'm not going to print another one. I'm more concerned about usage of ink than I am whether I cut off part of the frame or not. To stick this in, I'm just going to use some good old invisible Scotch tape as well as this journal card. I don't know what that came in. Alright, that has got a Faramir cat hair on it, so we are not going to use that. You know, cats, they get everywhere. Their hair gets everywhere. Just a few minutes ago he was screaming at me, so it's shocking that he's not over here yelling into the microphone as well. Alright. We're just gonna stick that down in there, straighten it just a little bit. I say this every month, but it is designed to be just a little bit smaller than an A5 size because I don't want it sticking out the sides of the journal. So I do make it just a little bit smaller so that it fits right in. So yeah, July. Also, you know, in July here in Arkansas, the air is like lava. The Sahara vibes work for me. They just do. I realize if you're in the southern hemisphere, this glaring sunshine aesthetic is not what you're experiencing right now. But for me, it really is. Just a reminder that there is a version of this cover page in the kit that doesn't have the month July on it. So you could always download it and use it in December if you live in Australia. We have got in our door, and I'm going to grab a clip just so that my sweater doesn't keep catching on this. For a minute there, I couldn't find one. You know, we can never seem to find what we need when we need it. Those corners will stick down a little bit better as the month goes along and the pages in my journal flattened a lot of the time. I'm going to change up my dashboard, flipping back to the beginning of June. I typically have had my elements and stuff, so my earth, air, fire, water, spirit, the goals that I want to work in within those elements for the month. I'm narrowing that down to 1. So I've only given myself 1 spot to write on in this particular setup. Alright, so I have an arrow that I think I'm just gonna put almost like a flag. If I can get it straight. Just like that. And then my accent color for the month is just going to be an orange. So this is a Tombow 933. This dot marker is a dual tip dot marker from Shuttle Art. It's just the basic orange that comes in sort of the primary pack. And these are what we are going to use. Up here, I am just going to write my month. Make it a little bit aesthetic with some orange. Not a lot. Again, since I changed this layout, I have penciled in where I want things to go, and I'll have to come back and erase that later. Alright, so my goals. Again, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. I'm going to use their symbols just so I don't have to write them out. Earth is an upside down triangle with a line through it. Air is a right side up triangle with a line through it. Fire is just a right side up triangle. Water is an upside down triangle. And then spirit's typically like a swirl sort of situation. I'm just going to put a circle. It's just the easiest thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. And then, let's see, this box is a little bit bigger than my sterling ink boxes. I've never used it to make a box on this spread, so I think I'm just going to freehand those. And that's just a spot for me to come in and say, did the thing, didn't do the thing. Stick in a check mark or fill it in at the end of the month, one way or the other. Now, I have not yet decided on what these are going to be because I am in between the sun part of my mid-year ritual and the moon part of my mid-year ritual. So if you don't know what my mid-year ritual is, go back and watch my last video. I'm working through all of the things that happened in the last 6 months and what I need to change and what I need to focus on, and that will narrow down what I need to work on for the rest of the year. And since I'm in the middle of that process, I'm not prepared to dedicate time on here and write those things in yet because I'm not entirely positive. We're getting close, but we're not quite there. I'm also just going to put in some ruled lines. This is extra. I just like the way that they look. I don't love working with the metal ruler. I like it as a stencil, not necessarily as a ruler. Come at it from that direction. Yeah, it's a little cleaner. I'd go back and do this one, but I would mess it up. I would make it look all double-lined and it'd be a whole situation. So we're just going to leave it. Okay. Well, maybe we're going to fix it. Hang on. It's not too bad. That works. That works okay. I'm going to put in some key dates. I'm going to put in the moon phases. Here, we're going to write moons and our dates. The 5th, the 13th, 21st. I think that's the 27th. Hang on. Yeah, and again, circle stencil makes it super easy. Color in my new moon, fully black. The first quarter moon, black on the left side. The full moon will stay an open circle. And then the last quarter moon, colored in on the right side. Ta-da! Alright, so we have new. We're going to abbreviate first quarter, full, and last quarter. And then over here, we have dates on the 4th. That's U.S. Independence Day, so we have a holiday. On the 6th, one of our local bands is playing at one of our local clubs. Thinking about going, don't know if I'm going to go. This just really serves as a reminder that they're playing that same weekend right after the holiday. On the 8th, I have my dental cleaning. Go get your teeth cleaned twice a year situation. Can't forget that. The 19th is a little bit different. My father passed away on the 18th of July. It's been 11 years now. I typically take the day off. But when scheduling an event, and very important people have to be at said important event, I don't always get a say. There's an event that I'm planning that takes place on the 18th, which would be my normal Memorial Day, and I just can't take it off. I've got to be there. So I'm going to take off Friday the 19th. I'm going to take off the day after. It'll be fine. It's a thing I do. It's very difficult for me to focus at work on that particular day. In this instance, I'll be so tied up in event logistics that they should be fine, but you just never know. I'm going to leave space at the bottom for some notes. And again, I'm going to give myself some ruled lines. I am going to switch to a ruler instead of that metal and just draw some ruled lines most of the way across. And then I think I'm going to stick one of the sun stickers from my kit right up in this area, just because the sun is out and it'll probably be out all month. It'll be hot. It'll be super hot here all month long. There we go. And then I am actually going to wait to erase. I have learned that on this Tomo River paper with the Sterling Ink Common Planner and my Sharpie S Gel that it takes just a minute. Like, this won't smudge if I rub my hands across it, but if I start erasing across it, it might. So we're just gonna, I'll erase it later. It's gonna be totally fine. It's all right. All right, we are gonna flip back to the standard monthly setup where I typically do memory keeping. I have gone ahead and put in dated stickers. These come in the kit. It just takes me a really long time to cut them and stick them in. And some months I use them and some months I don't. See, I didn't use them last month. This is June where I am now, so I still have some days to memory keep here. I didn't use them in May either, but I did in April, though I didn't memory keep very well in April at all. Look, there's lots of empty spaces. But sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Just depends on my mood. I do want to stick some other decoration on here. We're going to go ahead and stick in this other sun from the kit. Went all in on the sunshiny situation. Stick that right up there. Here is my July header for the month. There's 5 of these in the kit. I leaned into my love of the Bird of Paradise because it's about the only month that I can use Bird of Paradise because I have so much orange in it. And it is one of my favorite flowers because I grew up with them in Kenya. The other being Kenya's national flower, which is the orchid. We are going to put in a place for me to track my socials at the beginning of the month like I did here. Just YouTube stats and Instagram stats. I don't really keep super track of them. I know people who have spreadsheets and they record what percentage they went down or what percentage they went up in followers and this and that. I can't be bothered with that. I don't have that kind of time. Not that I don't care. I do care to an extent. But when you're a smaller channel and you know you're a smaller channel, you know the pressure's off. YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, and then my 3 levels of Patreon. I'm going to go ahead and give them a ruled line, and I'm just going to do it by hand. I'm not going to grab the ruler. There we go. What other decor should I put on this page? Oh, the other thing I have to do. In the fiasco with my misprints, suddenly realized that I didn't have a 31 in the kit. So I didn't have a 31 in the kit that I printed. You'll have a July 31st in the kit that you print because I caught the error. But I don't have one, so we're just gonna make one. We're just gonna grab this yellow and make a little splooshy, and it's not gonna be the same, and that's okay. I'm gonna write 31 over top of it. There we go. It's going to be fine. I just try not to get hung up on that. I really don't. Let's put in some flowers, and I think I'm gonna lean back into those Bird of Paradise. I think I'm gonna put in this obelisk over here along with maybe this cheetah. Fun fact, the cheetah is my favorite animal. The cheetah and the elephant. So definitively the cheetah is my favorite of the big cats. And then I have some Bird of Paradise. Maybe I'll put the cheetah over here with a Bird of Paradise. Let's try that. Put this down first, then add in our cheetah. There was a time, many thousands of years ago, where the cheetah roamed northern Africa. But then, of course, the Sahara expanded, started taking up more space. And a lot of the wildlife that is in sub-Saharan Africa, they just kept moving south. They used to be in the north. That is so crooked. I'm trying to decide if it's going to bug me. Most of the time when something's that crooked, it doesn't bother me. An obelisk is a very straight item. I don't know if I can get it off of here neat enough, though, without tearing it because it's so thin. That's a little bit better. I think it's still a little crooked, but it's all right. This is the same Bird of Paradise as the one that I put on here. So I'm not going to stick it there. It's a little weird. In fact, I'm not going to stick that one there either. Gonna make a moment over here with our 2 other bird of paradise. And then I'm feeling a quote or something, but I kind of want to write one in, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I want to research what quote I put in here. Probably something about the sun and heat. All of my quotes lately have been about the sun. If you look back at my daily pages where I'm at right now, I've left myself some blank pages for the rest of the month. Look, my sun sets to rise again, still I'll rise. Create your own sunshine. It's all about the sun these days for me. All right, so there is the monthly spread. So again, I can memory keep on. I'm not sure I'm going to do the memory keeping thing in 2025. Just not sure. We have one other thing to do, and that is to come back here to the quarterly pages. Last quarter, after I had reviewed my goals and things for the year, I put them on this page. In the first quarter, that started off as like a video planning tracker. But because my life got so upended in the first quarter of 2024, that went by the wayside, so I tried something a little different. These are my health trackers on the right. So the bar graph is sleep, the solid line graph is steps, and the dotted line graph is my water. So this is where I'm at right now. Those we're going to keep. I'm going to put probably another one of the suns that I have up here for July so that we are ready to put in our sleep, steps, and water. These quotes I put in at the beginning of the year, so they were in my annual setup. This one says, I'd like to leave you with the rising suspicion that lingering in the half-light at the edges of your vision, your door is waiting for you, and I'd like to give you the courage to run through it. Again, that's from 10,000 Doors of January. And then I'm going to do something a little bit different over here, but let me get this sun sticking. All right, here we go. I said you can tell I'm still in and around the solstice because I'm all about the sun vibes. Over here, I am going to put my power word for the quarter. Another one of those things that I'm doing as far as my mid-year ritual is to pick a power word. Now, my word of the year for 2024 is equipoise, which means balance, or a balance of forces or interests. I want to pick something else to support that and put in here just for the quarter. Again, because I am between doing part 1 of my mid-year ritual and part 2 of my mid-year ritual. Part 2 is where we're picking the power word. So I'm going to put in the space for the power word, but we're not going to put it in here yet. And because it is neutral, I want to use a neutral color to highlight it instead of bright orange. This is just a calligraph. It's a really light gray, and I'm going to highlight this area right here. And that's where I'm going to write my power word once I have selected one. I will write the power word, I'm going to write the definition, and then I'm going to write the action statement for the power word. That's one of the things that we do in the ritual is you got to give your word something to do. You can't just pick a word and be like, oop, this is my word. You have to give it some purpose. I'll have the word, we'll have the definition, and I'll write the action statement. And then I'm going to draw a solid line to break up this top fourth from the bottom. And I just want to write some sort of reflection at the beginning and end of each month to see where I am, to see where things are. So again, part of my mid-year ritual, it asks, what is your reality right now? And I want to ask myself that on a monthly basis. At the beginning of July, I want to come in and write, what is your reality right now? It's probably not going to be that far off from when and how I answered that question in my mid-year ritual. But because I haven't done the other half of it yet, I don't know what healing is going to take place and what my perspective is going to be like after I finish part 2. It probably won't be that far off, but it might be a little bit different. So that's what we are going to do here. Let me go ahead and just write reflections. That is it for July. I've got my quarterly spread ready to go for July, August, and September. August is my birthday month, so the next time we do a monthly setup, we'll be setting up for my birthday. Here is the monthly spread for me to come in and memory keep some things. And then we have our copper door in the Sahara Desert with the sunset for our 10,000 Doors of January theme for July of 2024. If you like this video, you guys, you know what to do. Please give it a big thumbs up. Check out the mid-year ritual if you haven't done that already. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.